Okay, guys, here we go. I'm gonna try and speak loudly this time, in case they mess with the volume again. But I had the most interesting morning and findings before even making coffee. This is basically what I woke up to. Let me get in there. My computer is working super super slow. Okay. So, how it all started today is I woke up this morning and found out that I recorded myself asleep and found out that they somehow disabled the recording right here, which this should have been, when I was asleep. So, first thing I find out, it's disabled. I'm like, oh, God, you know. So, I was able to stay up, relatively late. So then I go in next and I check the terminal in my computer, and then I see that everything has been reconfigured. What it should look like is this 192.168.3, and then like this, and then the numbers. Well, they went in, and now everything is IPv6. Like this is IPv4, and now it's running off IPv6. Um, and IPv4. It's like a combination of both. So they're running off both bands of my router. It's like the two have different, like their own. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so tired. Um, it's like they have their own agenda. So what I have a feeling that they're doing is, well, we'll get into this. I'll show you more of what I found. Um, Okay, so then I look, and the geode, which is a satellites, is running off of this Akamai Technologies. And we still have, I believe this is the Mormons running the my mail. It's nice that they run everything, you know. So what I do is I go and I take a look at what this number is, this long, IPv6 number, and I find out that it's out of Bright House Networks in Orlando. And I'm in Edgewater, so right here. And this goes back, this longitude and latitude goes back to like the municipal area of Orlando, so I'm sure I'm hooked up to something there. Um, so then I go into the console. They had shut the console down when they disabled the camera. So they might have even had physical access to the computer or something. I'm not entirely sure. But we have the Bluetooth right here activated the, because I looked up the endpoint, so they use the Bluetooth to do some things too. Keep going. All right. Bluetooth again. So then I look up satellite for the information just to see if there's any kind of, I always look up satellite periodically to try to catch them using the satellites. Well, look what I find. I find an IP address right here, and it talks about fairsatellite.com. We don't have a satellite that we're hooked up to. We have regular cable. So now another mystery has been solved. Um, okay, so what I did is I had looked up the IP number in the reversed form, because you can usually find information out there, and that's a level 3 parent, and that's like a big information server. So then I did it correctly, and it was hooked up to the Dish Network Corporation. Now, nobody here has Dish Network except the woman across the street. She's the only one with a satellite. She's literally right across the way, and she's kind of strange. So I found that kind of weird. And basically, the way that her satellite is, like pointing, it would point up to where like all the drones are. So then what I do is, when you're on iplocation.net, the second one here goes to ipinfo.io. Click on this one, and then it'll bring you to the ASN number. The ASN number for this one is this right here. So I was able to see that it is on a level 3 parent, like we had seen before in the Weehawken, New Jersey. And then this AS701, that is linked up to federal offices, AT&T services, and Covenant Eyes. Covenant apparently is some kind of parental control kind of a thing. So then I look down at the related networks, because sometimes these are who's pairing onto your network. And look what I find. I find wetware services. And everybody knows that wetware is basically the brain to computer interface with the implants. Well, my brain has been implanted. And then we have the DoD Network Information Center. And then VeriSign Global is also another one that is hooked up to. VeriSign has different ones, but I've seen them hooked up to like Department of Defense. So go here. So then I go over to wetware.com, the website connected to that ASN number, and it said, "Mad scientist at work, pardon our runes." And I tried to look up, who the owner of the website is, but it says it doesn't exist. It's on a level 3. So these must be the people that are the mad scientists that are ruining our lives. It's never a dull moment. Okay, so then I go back in later at 12:11, back into the terminal, and I, to kind of investigate this IPv6 situation. And then I see it's a combination of both, and all the IPv6s are ORD, which is Chicago. Yeah. So I wonder who in Chicago would be doing this. They're trying to use VPNs to cover it, but there's only so much that a VPN can cover when they're directly on your network. You know what I mean? So it's all right. So what else? What else did I look up? All right. Okay. So then I look up. Get up here. Okay, so I go into that. I go into DNSlytics.com, and I look up the IP address that's, my IPv6. So I get on there, and I find that the ASN number is the same, and I have a whole bunch of new DNS servers here. So I go and I look this one up, the one that's running the RIPE network, and I go and I see that it has a bunch of other DNS servers, and its ASN number is 197000. So then what I do is I go over to there and I look it up, and it's an anycast system, and that's on IPv4. And then you look it up here, and it's pornography sites. So whatever this new adjustment that's been made, it's basically on an anycast. Before my aunt and uncle left, everything was hooked up to an anycast system going through the cable box and the television. I found out that the TV and or the cable box is hooked up to a satellite. When I had no internet for 2 days, everything was still running through my computer. I just didn't have the wireless connection. But there was still, like, my console still had a bunch of stuff running through, almost like it was hooked up to the satellite. And basically the criminal organization has been running all their stuff through my computer to make it look like I'm, something like that. So then I look and I find Petite Girls Nude, Crazy Net for You, chubbytube.net. That's Big Jugs Tube. Yeah, that's nice. Lamada Erotica. Yeah, just I mean, this is just some. There's 463 domains listed on there. But if you see more than like, 3 or 4 pornography ones, you can pretty much bet that that's what's running. An anycast system basically is hooked up to different to different networks, and it's used to broadcast what's going on in my home. So yeah, so we have officially gone. Well, and then this kind of stuff happens when the human trafficking, like the psychotic human trafficking, begins. My cameras get disabled. So let's go and take a look again. They move everything out of order. All right. Okay, so I went and I looked up my old one, the IPv4 address that I have, and I'm still hooked up to all the government offices, CIA, FISA, um, DNI, all of those. Um, let's see. So then I looked up the new IPv6 address, and it went back to Stockholm Syndrome, or Stockholm Syndrome, Stockholm, Sweden. That was a Freudian slip. All right, so then I look again at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's all the IPv6. Oh, hold on. Let me plug this in. All right. Oh, it unplugged again. All right, 1 second, guys. Okay, so that's what we have right there for today. But yeah, so I found the wetware um, basically going off the Dish Network satellite. So they're tracking, it's proof that I have the brain implants. They put in a whole system in March of 2016, right after I bought my house in Maine and right before I was leaving to go there. So they wanted, because anytime that I, you know, want to move or do anything, they implant something really crazy in my body. So I'm always in a lot of danger, of their. It's like crazy. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, so today we found the wetware, which is exciting. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's not really exciting. I feel like hell. But I'm pretty sure that the fun and games are going to start beginning because um, we have the Chicago connection, the ORD connection, and then we also have the. Hold on, let me get back to that one where it's all mixed. All right, 1 second. Okay. Here we go. The one where it's all mixed up, where it's IPv4 and IPv6. To me, it looks like it's, of course, the same group of criminals. They were Eastern European. If you look at the For You Katrina snuff film kind of shit that, was basically created, it's the same group of people overseas. They're of Eastern European origin. They're just sick people. Yeah, so apparently it's like they won't stop. It just seems crazy. So who knows what happened this morning as far as like when the camera was off. I don't know if they entered the home. My arms and my legs feel like numb and heavy in a really weird way, but the dogs don't seem to be traumatized or anything. They're pretty normal today, so I don't know. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening and going on another adventure. Bye, guys.